All right, guys, it's 7:30, 9/14/2025. I wanted to just jump on and do a quick video for you guys. Um, we're getting rate cuts this week, probably 50, maybe 25. If it is 25, it'll probably be three in a row at 25. But I sent out a Substack that shows who does well during rate cuts. And what I like to do is I like to run through these sectors that are flagging out real nice and trying to find plays that I need to either add to my master watch list or possibly invest in. But before I do that, I wanted to go over this. So, one of the things that I'm doing for you guys is I started with a $30,000 account, and I'm going to bring this to a million. And my buddy that I'm doing this for, his name's Efren. He asked me, he's like, "Well, why are you doing this?" And the main reason I'm doing this is I want to show you guys how. And I do put it in chat, um, and I put it in Discord. But the main thing that I think you need to be watching for is you'll notice my P&Ls will be, I made 300 here, I made 300 there. But eventually you'll see like, oh, he made 17,000. He made 5,000. He made 22,000, right? And it's like, well, how do you know how come there's such a gap between 1,000 here, 500 there, 2,000 here, and then all of a sudden you hit 15,000, 20,000, or whatever. One of the things that I do is I tell you guys, hey, when I'm trading, just day trading, I'm just staying warm. It's like going in and getting your shots up in the gym. But when a perfect play sets up like that, that's when I'll start to get really, really aggressive. And one of those that I've done that with is Amazon, right? So you can go in there and you can look at the Amazon trade that I did, and these were everything that I was telling you guys about Amazon. Um, Now it's also in the DPL room, not just in the Discord room. Um, and the latest one, of course, was Tesla here. So again, on September 10th, again in the same Nate favorite chart, Tesla weekly, saying, "Hey guys, it starts A plus plus. I'm going to be aggressive over the next few weeks with Tesla." Like this is what you need to be able to figure out. How and why does he decide to play these stocks aggressively? Because that's where 80 to 90% of my profits come from. Um, when I'm taking these big shots, they don't always work. They have, I think, I'm 4 for 4, 3 for 4 on the ones that I've taken big shots on with this account. But that's what you really need to focus on. So when you're going through this trader sync, you need to come in and be like, well, how did he make this amount on this play and why? Um, okay, so with that being said, one of the more aggressive plays that I'm going to be doing over a longer period of time is Amazon. I think Amazon's going to go back to all-time highs. I think any weakness in Amazon is worth a buy, and I'm going to be doing that. Now, back to what I was saying here with the indexes. So with the sectors, what I'll do is I'll come in XLB and I'll pull up the XLB companies, and then I'll come in here and I'll list them by capitalization, and I'll run through these charts to figure out, hey, which ones are not on my master watch list that need to be, which one are on my watch list. Maybe I need to get a little bit heavier in. So you can see with materials, right? ALB is one of my long-term plays. So yes, I've got exposure to materials. I want to be in materials. Materials usually does pretty well during rate cuts. Another one that I'm thinking about is CE. It's only at 5 billion. It's been hit. I'm still digging into that one. But anyway, so I go through all these that I like. I go through XLY. I skipped XLE. I'm not really as interested in that one. XLK I already know. I went through XLC, XLI, XLF, and I come up with just ideas. And things that I want to watch. And so here is my Word doc with some of the findings, right? So in consumer discretionary, you can see Tesla, Amazon. Um, those two are the biggest companies in consumer discretionary, and those two have been a real big focus of me the last couple of weeks, right? Now, I sent out an article. I didn't send it via Substack. I just shared it the link in the DPL room. So if you don't have it, I can send that to you. But I talked about housing plays and stuff, and HD and Lowe's are a part of that. HD and TJX have great chart setups right now, and so you saw me in DPL talking about TJX and wanting to play TJX, right? So I'm starting to move where the market moves, and it's like, all right, yeah, this TJX chart, I like it. Let's see if we can take a shot at it. Nike is a possible long-term play. I've been buying and selling Nike for years. It's I would buy it over here when it would hit 100, and it would come in from 80 to 100, and then it started cracking down. And I've been buying it and selling it since 20 late 2022 here. Um, and I do this with AMD and on a lot of my other long terms. I'll sell puts and I'll sell calls, covered calls, cash secured puts, etc. So I still like Nike, but again, I think Nike's got a relatively long road ahead of them. Um, Now, another one that I've been trying to get into is Starbucks, and it just hasn't come down to a level where I thought, you know what, let me grab it. And that level is closer to 60, 65. You know, I may pay up for it. We'll see. And another one is CMG here. I think restaurants are going to benefit a lot as rates come in. Um, People have more cash, will start eating out more. And I think products will actually start going down as well. Now, two that I am in. Oh, I mean, if I didn't say this, this is consumer discretionary. Two that I'm in for consumer discretionary for long term are VFC. You guys know this, I think. And again, anything under $13, I'd buy it. If it gets lower than that, then buy even more. And then Etsy, same idea here is for 50. So anytime that this thing's hitting 50, I'm a buyer. Um, so you know, when you look at the Substack and you see the chart of what I sent out as this list of performance here, top five U.S. sectors relative performance around a Fed rate cut, right? So as you go through these and you look at these, you can see discretionary is actually number one. So as you're going through these, you want to make sure that you've got enough exposure to the things that do well. Um, Lennar's a housing play as well, and you actually have an inside week this week on it. So I'm willing to play that one for sure. And then HLT is another great chart setup right now. You can see we've got this, beautiful weekly, whatever you want to call this, you know, sending triangle, cup and handle, whatever. But it looks great. And then for the other restaurants, you've got Dries and Yum, right? I'm going to add those to the watch list, but there's nothing that I'm doing with them here. Now, for comm services, Google, you guys know Google and Amazon have been my two favorite Mag 7 stocks, just strictly from a valuation perspective for the past couple of years. Google's already up and running, right? Like anytime Google had news, I told you guys to buy it. Anytime negative news comes in, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. And now it's like, well, it's a little too extended. So if you didn't buy it at 140, I wouldn't be buying it at 240. Unless it sets up in an edge that you can play, right? TTM squeeze or something like that. And another one that I've been buying on the pullback from earnings is Netflix, and I'll continue to buy and absorb this one. Um, Now, Meta's another one that you can play through comm services, and I like Meta's a cash machine. You, you just got to deal with the CEO and the money that he's going to spend. If you're okay with that, then yeah, play Meta. Now, consumer staples. Walmart, the weekly, it's squeezing, looks great, right? One, two, three coming up like it wants to break through. This Walmart weekly looks amazing. Um, Costco's riding on the 55 EMA on on this 55 EMA, and it's Costco's overpriced, but it's one of the best companies in the world, and it compounds like clockwork. That's why people are willing to pay up for it. And so it's like, all right, maybe we should play this from a technical perspective, just for like a bounce off of this area. But I'm gonna start paying more attention to Costco than I have in the past couple of weeks. Another one here is Target. Now, Target has been beaten down, and I would just love for this to come into about 75 to 80. If we could get that 75 to 80 drop, if we came in, 15%, 150 gives us that double that we would need, right? And I think Target is and will turn it around. I'm just trying to get the best entries that I can and being patient as possible. But this is a company that I am willing to play long term. I just want it a little bit lower. Sometimes you end up missing them, like Starbucks. Like I was trying to get Starbucks over on all these dips, and it never quite came in low enough for me. But I'm okay with missing. Um, and then another long term pick that I have is L, and I'm already in this one. This is a China play, so just understand that as well. And then another one that I am in is HRL, and I send a Substack out about that one. All right, now the other sector is industrials. So, CAT looks great from a charting perspective, right? Beautiful, beautiful chart setup. It's got everything you want to look for. It's right up next to its all-time highs. It's squeezing out. Let's see. Well, it doesn't have any longer time frame squeezes. But the chart's perfect. The chart looks great. So that one is on my favorites chart to look for TTM squeezes to get into. Uber is another one that you guys know I've been buying and selling for a while. It's starting to squeeze on this weekly as well. I'm always a little bit hesitant to buy Uber. I don't know why, but it is in play, and it's one of the larger ones in industrials. Now, my long-term stock of MMM, I mean, it looks great. It's squeezing on the weekly as well, flagging out. I really do think we can get up here to this 180. Original buy was down in the 70s, and I've sold most of it, but then I rebought it on this pullback. And so I'm still holding some of that, but I'm willing to get into some, medium term options on it as well. And then, these other companies like EMR, they can benefit from housing. Like these guys are HVAC systems for residential use. Um, there's BLDR, right, for housing. Um, and then for another company that I've started acquiring is UPS. Um, Big UPS will turn it around. I'll do a write up on this later. Again, I would love this to come into like 75. I don't know if it will, but I've already started accumulating. And then another great company with a great chart is HWM. When April hit and BA got down to like 130, I was like, guys, this is a no brainer. I just couldn't buy it because BA murders everybody, but supposedly, quote unquote, the people testifying against them somehow committed suicide. But I'm sure every company does that of some sort. But HWM is another way you can play through them. They do the jets and stuff, and I think they're more customers actually Boeing. But anyway, great looking chart. We can play through them as well. Um, MAS is another housing play that you can do. They do plumbing, Delta. And then my long term SWK is a dividend and housing play. And then GNRC as well. Our first buy in GNRC was, I think it was back in, October here. I think that's when I first got into it, and I bought all these dips. Bought this in April. We got a quick 100% and already hit 200, but I do think that this was gonna 250, 300. And if these aren't on your master watch list, I would encourage you to put them on your master watch list. And you always want to know if you're fishing in the right pond. And as we look at the sectors that do the best during rate cuts, we want to make sure we've got enough exposure to those sectors. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be buying Apple or Amazon or any of these other companies. These the greatest companies in the world. If they get hit hard enough, they're always buys because they're the greatest companies in the world, and people will find them valuable. But I do think that we need to start focusing away from the Max 7 a little bit. And now that rate cuts are coming and it will create a rate cutting cycle, I think we're going to have really good outperformance with the other 493 small caps and stuff like that. We just make sure we've got enough exposure to them. So I'll talk to you guys later.